Hey, the joy of Queensland footy.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we're going to revel in this with Stuart Dew in a moment. But it's never been the Lions and the Suns together providing something like this, because the last good Lions phase was probably 2010, and the Suns had that brief period in about their third season. But here they are, and they'd put a smile on your face.
What about the Queensland footy, if you don't mind?
They've built up a really strong will to win, this group.
Trying to feed it to Cameron. What a spin by Charlie. How clever, Charlie Cameron.
The main part for us is the competitiveness and fight and heart, you know, when the game's on the line.
Inside 5 minutes now, Gowers goes up, Homsch. Oh, that's marked it. Tremendous courage.
Guys just lifted.
Oh, McInerney, the big O.
They sensed the occasion and obviously have a huge desire to win games of footy and found a way. So I'm really proud of them.
Another stirring come from behind victory for Brisbane.
I guess it's good for our members and supporters knowing that, you know, they can either come and watch us at Metricon or watch on TV and see that they've got a group that will fight it out.
They're going to win the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast are going to win it, and they have won a game.
We will try very hard to not get ahead of ourselves, even though I know it's exciting for everyone to watch this team grow and develop.
Fantastic. It's what the competition needs, what Queensland football desperately needed.
The Lions are 3-0. A long way behind West Coast, charged over the top of them early. 2 weeks in a row, 15-minute mark of the last quarter, 10 points down.
Yep.
Kicked 6 out of 7 goals against North Melbourne, kicked 4-3-0 against Port Adelaide. They just seize on the idea and go.
Yeah, they do, and I think it's great that the football world is praising Chris Fagan and the players, because soon enough, when they keep winning, we'll be hating them for beating your team. But right now, we're pleased from where they've come from. It's been a really long haul. I didn't get really out right then. It's been a long haul, and they are playing an exciting brand, and they're playing a hard brand, Jared. They've got the combination of both, and what happens when you have games like we've had in the last 2 weeks, which you were just talking about, that builds all those other layers that you can say, right, we've done this, we know we can do this. It's just different layers of coaching and different layers of the players believing. It really is exciting. And Lachie Neale, what a performance, mate. I'll be honest, you know, I said, you asked me first night, what's your biggest regret? And I said, the biggest feedback was Lachie Neale, my top 50. I knew he was a good player. I never thought he was to this level, and I'm thinking, stewing on it overnight. And I woke up this morning and Chris Fagan says, I knew he was a good player, but he's exceeded my expectations. I said, oh, beauty, I'm not the only one.
Being the guy really appeals to him. It's great.
I compared him LeBron James and Kyrie Irving at the Cavaliers, and then he went to Boston and he said, hey, have a look at this.
A lot of the Suns coming up. So the Lions play Essendon at the MCG. Gold Coast play Carlton. If it's a big if. If they were both to win, the Q Clash follows.
Well, I hope they do.
It'll be the first great Q Clash. It'll be the first great Q Clash anyway. Suns, a snapshot before Stuart Dew joins us.
I don't think there's a single person watching football wouldn't be pleased for Stuart Dew, second-year coach. Everyone thought they weren't going to win a game. Jared will really struggle. They've shown so much merit. You know, they were under siege on the weekend. The Dogs were coming. It was a tsunami of blue, red and white, and it was coming, and they stood there and soaked it all up and pushed back. They were fantastic. I'm going to ask Stuart Dew about a player, mate. His name's Jack Bowes.
Yep.
Now, we know about Jack, the other Jack. What's his name? Jackie Martin. He's a star. But Jack Bowes, mate, I think he's a future captain of the club.
It has to be worth so much to a club that has been broadly derided but has reset itself.
Yep.
They've got the people that they want there, and well, they do seem to have a future that most people couldn't recognise beforehand. So let's run it all past Stuart Dew and see how he's feeling about it at 2-1. And Chris Scott's got the Cats on top of the ladder, and yet they're not the main subject for discussion.
No,
he'll love it. He'll fly under the radar again.
We're down to 2:15 and they're 2 goals for drawing level.
Dogs have to get one here.
Last roll of the dice for the Dogs.
Up it goes, and they're going to get it.
Oh, what a great mark.
Takes the mark.
A huge grab in the most dying stages here at Docklands.
Time is ticking though. He kicks the goal. Wow, that's a goal of difference.
6 and 6 means there's plenty of space. McRae feeds it out. Bontempelli of all people gave to Duray. Long kick. Where's Norton? Where's Gowers? Gowers to tie the scores. Bulldogs fans have seen this movie before and they love the ending.
The draw scores level. Gowers puts it out to the right, misses. The Suns by 5 points.
The clock is ticking down.
They've done enough. They're going to win the Gold Coast. The Gold Coast are going to win it. They've won by 5 points at Marvel Stadium in one of the best wins in the history of the Gold Coast Suns.
I don't know whether you'd ever entirely get used to it, but he's had 3 goes at it so far this year, and he stayed down in Melbourne. We're really appreciative. Stuart, welcome to AFL 360.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Heart rate's just gone up again watching that. It's just nothing you can do. You're just hanging on. You know, when he's having that set shot, start to think, geez, is 2 points worthy today, but 4 was better. Obviously.
Is anyone talking in the box, or is it complete silence? Can you remember?
I think there's a lot of chatter, but there was a stage, I think, right at the end where it's like, well, we can talk all we want here, but it's over to the players. Yeah.
Self-preservation for you is just to ignore those moments. Chris Scott, welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I spend most of those moments out of the box. Yeah, my player gets the best of me. But it is an interesting discussion, I think, to have what the conversation in the box, because everyone's emotional. And Neil Balme always used to say there's only room for one idiot in the box, and hopefully that's the head coach. Sometimes it's others, but there's a genuine discussion, isn't it? Gowers is having the shot, there's 30 seconds to go. Is the draw okay? Or do we risk the win and give up the 4 points altogether? But now there's having those conversations and there's being given the opportunity to communicate them, which is obviously much harder now. But the runner would have been sitting there going, what do you want me to say?
That's what we were saying.
Just give us another 15 seconds.
That was the chat. It was, you know, if he kicks it, a draw, what do we do? But what can you do when there's 6-6-6? Whereas last year you could assess and say, okay, where we're at now, we're up against the ropes. Let's start a couple behind and take the draw. But in the end, you're really backing your players in to fight that first centre bounce.
What a glorious win on the weekend it was. You got out to a lead, you held it, they challenged, and you fought on. Is that like the perfect win that you can discuss with the group? What part did you like the most about their character on the weekend?
I think where we're at, it's been a really, really pleasing start to the year. You know, we could be 3-0 or 0-3. So we've spoken about that. I think we've won 8 of 12 quarters. So I think for their belief to know that if they can hang in there, regardless of momentum, and every game's got the momentum swings, it's how much punishment can you take up against the ropes and how much can you push back. So for us to be able to push back enough to get over the line is important for our group. Given the reset of the club, new people on and off the field, you know, I think it's important for us.
Are they invaluable, Chris? You have got more coaching experience. What does it do to see the Gold Coast Suns playing like that? What does it do for the competition?
Well, I haven't thought that much about the competition. I can speak to what it's like with a younger group, and I think that especially when you miss the finals for a few years in a row and you're trying to sell an idea that over the long term you think will work to the players. It's not until you actually see it succeed that the players feel a bit vindicated for the work they've done. And I take your point. If you're 0-3 playing exactly the same way, and it can happen, we could very easily be 1-2 and be thinking, well, we're not really going that well. But when a few things go your way, I think the players, it's not only... We talk a lot about the messages we try to deliver internally, but we're naive if we think that the external pressure doesn't play a part. And it's not necessarily the media too, it's friends and family, and it's a very hard message to sell to your family that, look, we're actually running a good program up there and things are going okay. Yeah, we're 0-3, but stick with us. Yeah. Much, much more powerful when you're 2-1.
Have you got a moment in time, Stuart, where those who are there want to be there? Did the club lay that out? Are you the other side of it? For the first time, is it cohesive, united, all pushing in the same direction?
Yeah, I think so. Probably the end of the year, we made some, I guess, from the outside, big decisions. But for us, I think really strategic, planned, and then our recruiting policy was pretty clear. And I think that's from the day we came back pre-season, it was really clear that our group were committed. To have Dave and Witsy sign on, longevity, have our skippers signed up. Then your next layer comes in with Touk and Alex Sexton, they sign up. And then I think it's really important they're looking and they can see a little bit further into the distance rather than 12 months, saying, what have we got, where are we going? Now I think our playing group, whether they're middle tier or first year players, can actually look at the club and say, well, I know where we're going. There's a roadmap there, now it's just doing the work. I think we've gone about that, like Chris said. If we were 0-3 playing the way we're playing, we're still selling the same story. But it is a fine line, AFL footy, yeah.
The young leaders. I wrote today about Jack Bowes. I don't know him because you can't judge him as a off-field captain, but he plays the kind of football I think fans and I'm sure coaches look at and say, geez, he does a lot of the right things for a leader and setting the example. Do you envisage a guy like Bowes being perhaps a captain of this football club?
Oh, absolutely. Jack's got leadership in him, and he's a current leader now. In his age bracket and through the whole club, it's really important. He's a third-year player, so but he's a great story from our academy.
Yep.
And we see great growth in him. Last year, a bit of half-back, sometimes mid, and again, our decisions at the end of last year were really around we want to grow Jack Bowes, Braden Fiorini, those type of guys playing midfield minutes has been invaluable. 1 week he's on Nat 5, then he's up against Bontempelli, McRae, Wallace, Hunter, premiership mids. So it's great learning for him, and he's a sponge. He loves it. He's a bit of a footy nut. A couple of those guys, they're really mature for their age.
Last one, that vindication that Scotty was just talking about, what does that do for the coach, let alone what it does for the playing group?
Nothing personally in terms of any doubt that I've got, but I think it helps your message. But within personally, I can see the work they've done and the belief that we're building. So for me, it wouldn't be any different, but I think your message just carries that little bit more weight. So, but within myself, I think you get more out of seeing them sing the song, to be honest. It's just nice for them to get the reward for work. So many times in AFL footy you can not get over the line, like round one, and you think it's a fine line between who goes home happy.
Mm.
Yeah. There's been an air of derision around, and it's not all on your watch, but Stephen May and Tom Lynch, their development, their fitness standards, which has been aired by their new clubs. Have you taken any offence to that? Do you wonder whether your program is everything that it should be when that is getting said publicly?
No, I'm really confident in our program. We took last year, both on and off field, staff, personnel, program-wise, to assess it, made some significant changes. So I can't speak for before our time, but our program this year is markedly different to last year. But I know Touk Miller's been there a long time and he prepares fantastically. So he sets his own standard, and I think the best do. But we're really confident. We've got feedback from the two lads from Geelong, what our program compares to their, Milesy from Richmond, Corey Ellis from Richmond, then we've got coaches from Adelaide. So, and we've got coaches that spent time at other clubs. So I think we've delivered an elite program this year, and I think it showed the first 3 weeks.
Really love the fact that you agreed to be mic'd up. I said the same to Adam Simpson yesterday in the grand final. I said, brilliant, Simo. He goes, I had no choice. I was forced to get myself mic'd up. Your choice to let Fox Footy into your quarter-time huddle?
We're open to everything, I guess, and Fox has all our games, so we want to build a relationship. We want to give good exposure, I guess, for the footy club because there's a lot of mistruths out there about us as a club, so we feel that any little bit of exposure, unfortunately I'm the one getting exposed, but that's okay. I mean, in the moment, I think halfway through I might have dropped an F-bomb and then I thought, oh no, I'm on camera. And then,
Would you do that? Have you heard it?
I haven't heard Dewey's. I've heard the grand final.
Have a listen to Stu on the weekend.
So really good start. Just having a look here, the uncontested stuff. We're plus 18 handballs, but that's not us overusing it, all right? So we don't want to get into the handball game. We use it when we need it. but ball security really tight. What were the last 2 words we talked about at the hotel?
Process and composure.
Process and composure. So I reckon we were good for 95%, just that last couple of minutes when they got that one back. But really, I reckon we've set the tone now, we've set the bar, now we just got to maintain. So scratch that, tick that one done, and let's go again.
Didn't work, did it? How was their second quarter?
No, there was second quarter. It wasn't good. Good opposition, though.
Yeah, absolutely. We knew they were going to come out. I'm pleased they remembered what we talked about. But it was, you're just trying to, you're sitting there saying, when you ask that question, if nothing comes back, what do you do? What do you do?
It's a risk.
It's a risk.
It took a risk and it paid off.
Yeah. Would you consider doing that?
No.
Why not?
No. I think there are some things that, and I'd like to think we're a really open footy club with the media. Our players, I think, it's almost an open book, except for a few things that we think are private. And one of the issues that we have with that sort of thing, I thought that was fantastic access. But did you have some capacity to choose what went?
Oh, absolutely. Because we get final say, so I'll trust Tommy to do the right thing.
Yeah. So we'll try to make up for it in other areas, but I think there are some things that are, intensely private, and especially if it's in the moment where it could potentially change behaviour, we're a little bit resistant to that. But it sounds as if the AFL said to Simo that he had to do it. So maybe I may not have a choice.
If you get to the grand final and the way you're going, let's pencil you.
Right.
Let's pencil you in already.
Yeah.
You're 3 and zip. You're going to play in the grand final, of course.
With my media experience here, I know how to turn that button.
Bad problem to have, though, is it? That you have to be mic'd up in a grand final.
Yeah, I think if that's the equation, I'll accept it.
We are only 3 games in, and you were quite right in your press conference after the game. You spoke really well. The team's playing really, really well, but let's just everyone cool the jets a fraction. What is really standing up, other than the small forward pressure, not just the forward pressure, right? The low pressure, the high pressure, whatever you want to call it, in that forward 50. What else, without giving away great detail, Chris, what else have you been really pleased with?
We played Melbourne in round 2, who were probably the best contested ball team, at least statistically, last year, and we were plus 20, I think, in the first quarter, with a different combination inside, albeit on a slippery night. It was okay early, actually, but as the game went on, got even more congested and contested, and we were still pretty strong in that area. The obvious part for us, it's not that complicated, is we've had a group of players, particularly in our forward half, who have trained together for a long period of time, and we've picked the same group of players for 3 weeks in a row. So
that's uncommon, isn't it? It's been rare for the.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting stat for us. We played the same group of 7 forwards last year twice. We played a different group. 22, 23 games for the year, whatever it was. And I've said, I've got to stop talking Adelaide up because I've said it a lot publicly, but we really admire the fact when they're at their best, you just knew how they were going to play. Betts, Walker, Jenkins, McGovern.
Crouch, Sloan.
But mainly that forward group. You just knew what they were going to do, and they just put them out week after week. And I think even... Now, this is the extreme example because Richmond haven't played for a long time without Martin, Cochin and Rance and Revolt. But the swing is big, not only in terms of talent, but in terms of cohesion. And I think that's something we've been able to do for a small period of the year. But maybe the trials and tribulations over the last couple of years holds us in good stead because we've actually played a lot of the guys that are next in line. We won't be bringing in... first gamers, I don't think, if we lose a couple.
All right, we'll ask you about 666 and the sliding rule, the contact below the knees more correctly, and how that is right now. On the couch follows us on 360, Jared, Gary, Brownie and Roosie, set for action to analyse all that took place in round 3.
Monday Encore, brought to you by Jack's Tyres.
Fife took a heavy hit there, and Fife maybe knocked out here. McCarthy! What a spectacular leap!
Kerno got there. He beat them all. Can he roll it home? No way in.
The high ball. Cameron was
again with the 6-6-6 and then gives it all he's got and kicks the goal. This is going to be a foot race. Sexton in his 100th game. He gets to the front in the shadows of the stand, and if you don't mind, he kicks a ripping goal. Oh, what a goal!
There were some good moments in there. All right, the umpiring side of things, which is causing a lot of heartburn and angst at the moment. Contact below the knees. Started as a sliding rule, as a safety measure. Have we lost our way with contact below the knees the way it's been adjudicated at the moment?
I think players have, like all free kicks, have worked out how to milk a little one. So whether it's in the back, holding the man, contact below the knees, players have worked out how to sneak one. So
we're prioritising a player's leg over a player's head now, essentially.
Yeah. We'll just crack down on guys playing for frees, I think, then.
How do the umpires police that? Shouldn't the players police that? This rule was brought in to protect the players, and now the players are exploiting it.
Oh, I think you're allowed to do what Cripps did then. He just shouldn't get a free kick. I think it's much ado about nothing, to be honest. And our captain's gone
strong,
crazy on Twitter. I hear about it. I'm not trawling Twitter, can I tell you? But I think umpires have made a couple of mistakes, and we're saying that's not what the game should be, and we're all in vocal agreement that no, that's not what it should be. That was a mistake. And I think if players are getting hands to the ball and getting to the contest first, it's very unlikely you're going to give away a free kick unless there's a mistake.
So what happens? How does it get fixed? Does the AFL? Do you think the AFL will listen?
Well, the same way we try to fix players who make decision-making errors on the field. You go through the vision and say, give them a few cues and say, when a player's going for the ball, hands first, and beats an opponent in who goes in legs first, that's not a free kick for forceful contact below the knees. And that's the part that they've emphasised. It has to be forceful and likely to cause injury, which clearly that isn't. But do we cut umpires enough slack that in the heat of the moment, from a long way away, probably blindsided, he sees a player tip over and has got to make a call? I mean, I just think we've got to get better at accepting that mistakes happen. Paddy? Chill out.
Chill out.
It's like if they make two of those versus two in the backs, the non in the back or overzealous in the back doesn't get the same airplay.
No. Yeah,
Which I get, it's a newish rule because of obviously Gary.
It's penalising people, as Patrick said, don't you? It's penalising people. You kept using that word. A type of character of player. They're getting penalised. As Patrick said, you get told, like, go low, go hard, you'll get looked after. You go low or go hard now, there's a guy flopping over you and he gets a free kick. I mean, it's actually frustrating. It's not just wrong. It's actually frustrating everyone. The AFL should have the courage and say, right, we're going to tinker with this. You're right. Everyone's right. We've got to change the rules here.
So my understanding is that they are saying you're right, they're mistakes. Is anyone saying that? No, because I think that's where we should have a really strong debate as an industry. When the AFL comes out and says, no, we're happy with that. Every indication I've got is they're saying, no, that's not right, that's a mistake. And everyone should be going, yeah, agree, let's move on. Paddy.
Very good, I hope he's watching. The 666, 3 weeks to acclimatise. Are you in the camp that it's time to treat it like the centre square, an infringement is an infringement, rather than a free kick rather than a warning, or are you comfortable with the warning system?
Last night at Perth.
Yeah, well, we actually nearly did one accidentally, the last bounce. One of our forwards forgot to get to the goal square, but Bulldogs were the same. So they were both running back, but we were on a warning for the last centre bounce. So it was like... 3 weeks isn't a long time, and there'll be adjustment. But even if... there's no way St Kilda would have deliberately done that. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
Alan Richards said after the match it was just a mistake.
There's lots of near misses in the game. Actually, Brad Hill the previous week was the smartest I've seen because he's on the wing, so he's looking at the bench and he's assessing how long have we got, and if not, I can get there quicker, and the smart players work it out. I was watching him do it really well.
Can I put to you, if the rule came in and it was just an automatic free kick and we had 10 free kicks across the first round, wouldn't everyone be saying, come on, this is crazy, especially at key parts of the game? Just give them a warning, get them back to their spots. You don't lose anything. But because they have gone the common sense approach and said, let's just give them a warning, everyone's going crazy again. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't, these guys.
So if they go for free kick and whoever your team kicks it down, they mark it, kick the goal, that would create a little bit of hostile reaction, I reckon.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think it's costing us anything at all. If anything, it saved that game over in Perth. Imagine 8 seconds to go on the clock, they're a sneaky chance. Fremantle free kick at the centre bounce. What a letdown. But common sense prevails, sort it out, and then it's live again. Even the umpire, can I just say, the umpire throwing the ball up with 8 seconds to go, what a smart move. I mean, 8 seconds to go, if he bounces it into recall and 2 seconds comes off the clock, that ruins the game as well. Sometimes we don't always give them a pat on the back, but occasionally they deserve it.
So if the Bulldogs had their setup in the goal square, do you think you would have had a free kick paid against you in the middle?
It was at the last minute. Chris Burgess sort of turned around and thought, no one's in the cage. And mind you, I was speaking to him after the game. I said, could you have got there a little bit quicker? He said, no, never in doubt. I could see he said, I had 3 seconds. I said there was every bit of doubt. Get there quicker.
Don't ever do that.
Hey, great of you to stay down, Stuart. Good luck
Thanks,
with what's to come. Stuart Dew and Chris Scott with us on Coaches Night. It's Players Night tomorrow night. Well, neither of them played, so they've had the same view that we had. But there are issues at both clubs. Jordan Lewis and Jack Revolts will be compulsive viewing tomorrow night.